Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
I love that intro so much. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the View 52 Challenge. I'm your host, Jack Pinchuk, and with me, as always, is the lovely human being, Alex. Alex, how are you doing?
Well, I guess I got to change the little subheader that I've got going on. It says the terrible now, and I didn't put it there, so I don't know what's going on.
That may have been me last night. Anyway, also joining us, Melissa. Melissa, you're back once again for another episode of the View 52 Challenge. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I hope I'm lovely too, but maybe I'm terrible.
Just gonna say,
We'll
does
find out.
No.
Does Melissa not get a thing?
You're lovely too. I'm just all over
just
the
giving
place.
you a hard
The
time.
fabulously well dressed.
Yes, the
Melissa
always
too.
fabulously well dressed. Like, let's be honest, Melissa has the best fashion sense out of anyone here.
Sure.
That may be an insult to Alex, but it was not meant to be. So I apologize.
Okay, Mr. Hoodie and hat. I'm
comfortable in my hoodie and my hat. What do you want from me? All right. So another month has gone, and so we have 4 more weeks of challenges to talk about today, starting with week 5, which was a screwball comedy. And then followed by week 6, a film set in one location, then a film featuring the always wonderful to watch Shirley MacLaine, and a classic biopic. So with that, I think we can just get right into it. Week 5, screwball comedy. Who wants to start for this one?
I'll do it.
Sure. I don't know.
Arsenic and Old Lace is, I think, among the Frank Capra masterpieces, the one that I had yet to see. It's just one of the ones that we that slipped past us when we did. I don't think it was nominated for anything, or maybe it was, and we just forgot about it when we did Picture This. Or we were running through this on Picture This. I like all the Capra movies that I've seen so far, barring It's a Wonderful Life. And so I was when Capra was one of the categories, I was really anxious and very excited to put Arsenic and Old Lace on there because I heard a lot about it. And when you hear a lot about movies, my brain automatically goes, but what if it's bad actually? What if it's not good? What if we can make a case for Arsenic and Old Lace not being good? And it's really funny, actually. I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot, actually. It is, for the people that maybe haven't seen it or heard of it, Arsenic and Old Lace is a story of a guy that is coming home because he is about to be married or is married. Got married. Yeah. Okay. It's been a month since I've seen it. This is the first thing that I saw.
Yeah, I can't remember either.
Yeah. And he comes home to meet his aunties, and what he had kind of slipped past in his childhood, the thing that he maybe never picked up on, maybe never noticed, is that his aunties are serial murderers. They've killed many men. And he now has to deal with that. He also has to deal with his brother coming home as well, his horribly abusive brother, as well as cops, movement, Theodore Roosevelt. There's a lot going on, actually, with Arsenic and Old Lace. It is the screwballiest of all screwball comedies. I'm really glad we picked it.
Yeah, this movie is insanity in all the best ways. Cary Grant is giving a brilliant manic performance here. Honestly, possibly my favorite Cary Grant performance. It's between that and probably North by Northwest, or I don't know, but this is definitely in the running. The ants, I don't know who plays them, but they're just so much fun. It was the last movie I watched before we went live a few minutes ago, and I'm so glad it is, because having just seen it, and I can't stop thinking about certain moments in this movie. Every time the dude that's playing the guy that believes he's Theodore Roosevelt goes upstairs and screams charge, I burst out laughing. It's
just funny because it relates to nothing. It go that like joke goes nowhere. It's just he thinks he's Teddy Roosevelt, and that is the whole joke. There is no more joke after that. It is, this guy thinks it's Teddy Roosevelt. He's gonna be here the whole movie. I hope you're cool with that.
Yeah.
Cary Grant, who is like a super well-rounded actor, he's like, well, I gotta go big on this one because everything around him is big, so he has to like overcompensate, and it goes in all of the directions at once, and it's hilarious. I love it. I love art.
Okay, that's super cool, Spence. That's actually really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, no, this movie was, even though like I feel like a lot of people had said it was just like awesome and great, I still thought it was such a delightful surprise at the end of the day. It's not what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but it was way funnier than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I also think Cary Grant is really good at comedy, and like I think that's maybe where he's strongest from the movies I've seen of him so far. But this is a great little spooky feature. I mean, I think you could watch it any time, but I can definitely see myself like watching it during the fall time. It feels like a very fall type of movie. And I can definitely see myself rewatching this a lot.
Absolutely. It's one that I can see going on my Halloween rotation. And yeah, I hope to rewatch it very soon. I guess we can
go next.
No, you go next.
Yeah, so I picked His Girl Friday. I've heard about this movie, I feel like all my life almost. It's very like iconic. But I've never seen it. So I wanted to put it on the list. And essentially the plot synopsis is another Cary Grant movie. He plays Walter. He's a newspaper editor, and he finds out his ex-wife, which also she's a reporter at the same like newspaper establishment, is getting engaged, or she's getting married tomorrow in the context of the film. And basically once he finds that out, he does everything he can to like make sure that doesn't happen. And then there's like another subplot happening where they're trying to get like the scoop of this gentleman that's possibly innocent that's going to be executed. I really enjoyed this movie. I think if I think about it too much, I kind of like it less, to be honest. But I thought their chemistry was off the charts, and I mean, mile a minute with the dialogue, and I loved that. But I did prefer like the subplot with like the convict murderer more so than like the actual like romance or whatever, which I would say there's not really much of a romance, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. And that's honestly the reason why it's not higher for me, because I think the dialogue, the performances, the subplot with the convict are all absolutely incredible, and some of the most fun things are most fun I've had watching a movie in quite a while. However, the romance is not one I'm really a fan of. I wasn't invested in the romance at all, and honestly, it made me feel a little gross, just because she's clearly moved on from Cary Grant's character, and he's a bit of a jackass in this. But
manipulative for sure.
Yeah, and she's clearly like moved on from this this guy and wants to settle down and actually have a simple life with this other guy, and Cary Grant does everything in his power to make sure that doesn't happen, and so the romance just feels a little gross for me, but I will say everything else is good enough to make me like not forget about it, but see past that one flaw, because there's a lot to love in this movie, even if you don't love the romance. But yeah, no, Cary Grant, so fucking charismatic. He makes it look effortless, even when you should really dislike his character.
Yeah, and I did love seeing. Sorry, really quick. Rosalind Russell again, because I loved her in The Women. She was like my favorite character. So it's fun to see her again in this, and she killed it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sorry, Alex.
No, you're fine. I thought this was one of those movies where like individual pieces are good, but the pieces just don't come together to form the puzzle that they like ultimately should. It's like Cary Grant is quite a good actor. He does really well with the dialogue. Rosalind Russell, again, just awesome. But like, it's just something about the way, I think I called it negging the movie, because they just like they spend the, oh my god, the video source here. They spend the entire movie just like shitting on each other, and maybe it's like just me, but I don't follow, like that doesn't track for me. Like I wanted it to end differently and like go a different way with that, where they just I mean, I don't know, it just doesn't work for my brain, which is not the last time I'm gonna say that this episode.
Yeah, the ending is interesting because they literally just end up in the same place. They're back together, and it doesn't seem like the relationship's gonna last at all.
Yeah.
Also, really quick fun fact that I looked up when I was kind of like after I had watched this was Rosalind Russell's character from this movie was used as a model for Lois Lane for the Superman comics, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, really?
That is really cool. That is actually super cool. All right. I guess we'll move on to my movie now. And I didn't pick Cary Grant screwball comedy. I picked one with Henry Fonda instead. And Barbara Stanwyck. And I will say, Barbara Stanwyck, fantastic in this movie. She's a lot of fun. Henry Fonda is giving a really fun, physical, comedic performance. It seems like no matter what, he has to fall over in this movie. No one even says anything to him, and he's tripping over an entire fucking couch. It's weird. But no, this is an interesting movie. It's been a while. I'm just realizing now it's been a while since I've seen it. I should have refreshed on a couple things. He meets Barbara Stanwyck's character on a boat, and they fall in love, and then it's revealed towards the end that she's like this con woman, and the person that Henry Fonda had been led to believe is her father is also like this huge con artist that she goes around with and is known to be a huge associate of. And so with his heart broken, he goes home and he never wants to see her again. And then later on, who shows up but Barbara Stanwyck? And not only does he not believe she's the same person, even though it's just Barbara Stanwyck. I mean, Barbara Stanwyck is gorgeous, so like fair enough, but still, could not be more obviously the same person. And he falls in love with her again and gets married to her. Other than that, like one glaring flaw in the movie, like that just massive leap in logic that you have to make as a viewer to get past that. It's still a really fun time, really fun comedic moments in this film, really fun script, fun performances. I just had a blast with this one, but still a little dumb at points, but
A little dumb.
I'm not wrong. It is a little dumb. Like that.
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I might have been in a bad mood when I watched this. I don't know, but I thought it was such a drag to get through. And also, the title of the film was really triggering for me. It's just so the biblical implications, and I just have like religious trauma, so I get kind of like triggered at times. And I think this one like triggered me for whatever reason. I was just like, cool. I like Adam and Eve, like, you know, Eve is like the fall of men, and like he literally is like falling through the entire movie, and I was just like annoyed the entire time I was watching this.
Yeah,
You know
that's a fair
what? That's
point.
totally fair. Wait.
But it was fine. Like, I know I'm being like a little rough on it, but it was fine.
Oh, that's cool.
Interesting.
That's totally fair. I get it.
So I really like the Lady Eve. I like the Lady Eve. I recognize it's probably the most screwball comedy of all of the picks that we've had. It's probably the one that is the most screwball comedy. Just like visually, it's like a very sight gag, and the sight gag is falling down. There is something really funny about like the night where they first meet, and she's like, "Oh no, you broke my heel. You have to take me back to my room now." And the way that she's like, I thought it was like really funny. This character, because he has like no, like Henry Fonda for whatever reason in those scenes just has like no concept of sexuality, and then Barbara Stanwyck is like, "Hold me," and he's like, all right, and he like grabs her hand, and he's like, "Is this good?" It's just like trying so hard. I don't like that. Actually, for me, tracks better than like His Girl Friday, where they're just like yelling at each other the whole time. Where like one character is like trying, and then one character is like, "Am I doing good?" So sorry. Like that almost to me is like a funnier version of romance or movie romance. And so like that in this runtime, because I don't think that Lady Eve is especially long. Just from memory, it's also been like a month since I've seen it. Just like sort of hi Ellie. Like just the way that this one works better. I think I ended up really liking the Lady Eve. I just so much falling down. I took off a star for how much he fell down. It's like Lord of the Rings Frodo amounts of falling down. Just so much falling down.
Yeah, there's a lot of falling.
You're not wrong. Literally, my review for the movie was nobody. Henry Fonda in this movie, and linked there is a video of it's the Family Guy Dick Van Dyke Show intro parody where it's just Dick Van Dyke constantly falling down over and over and over again, and eventually him getting like hit by a car as well. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's been a while since I've seen that. Anyway, let's get to next week. Film set in one location. I'll start us off this time because I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot to say about this film in particular. It's the one I picked. It's The Cat and the Canary. And I will say it's still a good time. It's still quite a fun, spooky... it's a spooky silent thriller. And it succeeds in what it's trying to do for the most part. I don't remember as much about it as I probably should, but because it has been a few weeks at this point since I've seen it. But just to give you all a little bit of a synopsis for this movie. This guy, very wealthy, very wealthy, dies suddenly, and he has made sure that his will won't be opened for 20 years. He's made sure his will won't be open for 20 years. And so 20 years after his death, the family gathers for the opening of the will. And basically someone has to, I can't remember if it's just for one night, but has to live in his house, which may or may not be haunted by his ghost. I
thought it was the power went out and everyone has to stay there.
I thought
I think that
I can't remember. It's been so long. I'm just
For whatever
trying to-
reason, they all
I-
have to stay
I-
there.
Yeah, I
Um,
briefly looked up the letterbox synopsis before we started just to refresh my memory on this one. But yeah, essentially, yeah, because don't they have to prove like that they're sane in order to get the money? I thought that's what it was.
No,
To
I
be
think
hon-
it's.
I had too
Go ahead.
much.
I thought it was that
happened.
like you have to, if you get declared insane, you don't get the money. Like then it passes to somebody else.
Oh yeah. Okay, so the will is read, and it turns out that Annabelle West, the only heir with his name left, inherits if she is deemed sane. If she isn't, the money and some diamonds go to someone else whose name is in a sealed envelope.
No, that's it.
Yeah, and the lawyer disappears. Yeah, so that's what happens. Okay, that's it's been a few weeks at this point since I've seen it, but I really like how outside it's all blue lighting and inside it's like the warm yellow light that they use for this. I thought that was a cool little technique they used, but otherwise I don't remember a whole lot of this movie. Once again, probably shouldn't have too much of to quote one of my cousins, too much of the plant afterwards. But you know what? I don't really learn from my mistakes that quickly, so it probably will happen again. Anyway, someone can pick it up from there.
Yeah, so funny story. I didn't look at the year that Jack chose. So I watched both versions of the film for this week.
I'm sorry about that. I forgot
No,
to specify the
Don't be
year.
sorry. Like you talked about it on the last episode and I could have clearly looked. But anyways, so I watched both versions of the film. I will say I do prefer the one in the 30s a bit more. Just Bob Hope is like so charming and like I really liked his character in that film. But both are solid. I don't have too much to add because I don't remember it as well either. It was just like a cool little mystery, spooky drama film, but I really enjoyed it. I just don't remember a lot of the plot, to be honest.
I'm also trying to remember the plot. There's also like there's like rumors of an escaped convict
That.
from Oh god. So I actually also watched parts of the 39. Like I watched like the first half or third. And
I mean, ow, but you're right.
random. I also watched the first like half or third of the 39 version, and I was like, I thought this was supposed to be a silent film. Then I checked again, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm an idiot. Cool. Cool. Unfortunately, I thought the 39 version was like a little bit more interesting. This is okay. The Cat and the Canary probably played better, because I think a lot of horror does play better in its like timey context, and like the really great stuff is stuff that we can like put forward. Which is why I'm excited to see like even more of like older, more famous horror. And I just think The Cat and the Canary is something that we've kind of grown past, but I think probably people found moderately to severely scary in 1927. Like that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
It's just like it's stuff that now is almost like a cliche of like, ooh, there's an escaped person from a facility. Uh-oh, the lights are out. You can't trust some of these people because they want your money. Like it's just kind of like a hokey premise a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, that's not the worst thing. There's the cliches are there for a reason. They just like write with them instead of like against them.
Fair enough. Yeah, I did not end up watching I wanted to after I heard that there was a version from the 30s. I wanted to watch that one as well because I heard that they had also watched it, but I didn't have time to get there, so I didn't see it. We'll move on to the next one, Melissa. You can kick.
Yeah. So going into this week, I was really excited for this one, and who did it crush my soul? So Brink of Life, for anyone who has not seen it, it is about 3 women in a maternity ward, and they kind of they're all pregnant, and they're all women. That's definitely the connective tissue there. But it's a very emotional intense drama kind of with these three ladies and their stories kind of weaving with each other. I think it's interesting that Ingmar Bergman was the director on this, but I thought he did a great job. I thought it was very powerful depiction of this. I think it has some commentary of how absent men are from the women experience, particularly childbirth. That's such a unique experience to women who give birth. And yeah, it was terrifying because I'm at that time of my life where that might be a reality soon. And so this was terrifying. This isn't a horror movie, but it definitely felt like one.
Yeah, that's totally fair. I double featured this movie with movie we're going to talk about next, and that was an experience in and of itself.
I bet.
But this one was the one I watched afterwards, and you said soul crushing, and that's absolutely what I would use. It's just an absolutely devastating movie, filled with incredible performances. I can't remember what her name is. Is it Liv Ullmann?
No, so the three leads are Eva Dalbeck, Bibi Anderson, and I might need to look up the last one. Sorry.
No,
Ingrid Thulin.
Ingrid
Yes.
Thulin. Liv Ullmann's in a different.
Yeah,
Bergman.
she's a reoccurring kind of actress in Bergman films. Same with Bibi Anderson, but
Yeah,
really
it
all
was,
of them. But
yeah, it was Bibi Anderson. I got her mixed up with. But no, Liv Ullmann or Bibi Anderson is a great actress in this film. I'm really looking forward to the other Ingmar Bergman movies we'll be watching later on in the challenge, because Ingmar Bergman is a challenge later on in the year. So yeah, after this, and I saw Autumn Sonata last year, I'm really excited to explore more of Bergman's filmography. But obviously, can't really speak to the experience of the three leads in this film, but I found it to be a very hauntingly, a very haunting film, and it's the cinematography in this film is gorgeous, as from what I come to understand. Most, if not all, of Bergman's movies are shot very well. So, but no, I'm just excited to watch more Bergman after seeing this.
Yeah. Brink of Life is probably the best example we've had so far of less being more, because there is like no production design, there is no like fancy wordage, there is no hard like the all of the scenes are hard hitting, and you don't like there's one that like by the way, I can't imagine double featuring this with anything. Because when I finished watching Brink of Life, I went to bed. I was like, I'm exhausted. It's not a long movie, but I was done by the end of it because I found it like very, very horrifying. There's one scene where a character has to have a meeting with their doctor, and the doctor just asks a quick standard medical question, and then this like outrageous question. Hey, did you do this to yourself, by the way? And the character's like, no. All right. And then the guy leaves. He just that's the end of the line of questioning. I was like, oh my god, that's actually probably what it's like, isn't it? And then that, like, I just sat looking at a wall for a bit. This is just a hard sit, and I don't mean that as a negative. I mean it as like a descriptor. Like this is one of those movies that like is hard to sit through. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. In fact, I would probably say this is on the better half of the movies that we've watched so far for this show. I really liked Brink of Life. It's gonna be hard to see it again though. Just as like a very strong warning to like anybody that will want to watch it. It's a hard sit, and you maybe need to Google it if you have like if you have like certain things that are gonna cause you like triggers, like this is gonna be one of those movies you might want to do a little bit of research on.
Yeah, that's completely fair. It's very confronting in its messaging.
It's very impactful. And I will say the reason this was the second movie in the double feature, because the other one was over 2 hours long. I'm like, no, I want to finish with an 80-minute movie. But anyway, let's get to the one that was over 2 hours. Alex, kick us off.
Gang, I messed up. The challenge was film set one location. Definitely, I did not do enough research about Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, because they definitely go to a second location. But you know what? It's fine. I tried really hard. Can't get them all right. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf? It is an adaptation of a fairly famous play about two couples, and one of the couples is awful. And then they basically kidnap the other couple after a party. They basically they invite them over, they go, but from then on it's kidnapping, in my opinion.
I love that description.
I don't know if y'all ever been on like a road trip with like your parents or like with friends, or just like a couple, and they start fighting and you're stuck in their back seat and you're like, can we pull over? I feel like y'all should do this by yourselves. You're just in it in a way that like you can't leave. Like you're not jumping out of the back of the car. And that's what this movie is. It's like how, whatever the runtime of it is, you're just stuck in the back seat with these characters as they're having like what seems like an argument they've had before. Just it's off. Like this movie is so off-putting. Not in like a brink of life way, in just like a cringe comedy with no comedy kind of way, in just like a please get me, I want to get me off of this ride kind of way. Oh god, what an unfortunate ride. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is. Thanks, Bar. Next time, tell us. Yeah,
that is correct. But I love it. I love, it's just, the dialogue is just some of the best I've ever heard. And I just love the back and forth. I also tend to love cringe comedy or just cringe movies and anxiety movies. So I adore this movie. It's definitely an experience. It definitely leaves me wondering, like the questions that I have after this film is like, okay, yeah, how often does this fight happen between these two? What does tomorrow look like? Just all those type of questions. It's really interesting to see the dynamic of this marriage just go to shit.
Yeah, this movie is just watching a marriage disintegrate for 2 hours and 20 minutes, and it's not fun to watch. But when you hear that this was the main inspiration for the writer of the episode The Office, Dinner Party, or whatever that episode's called, it makes a lot of sense, and you can totally see that. But no, the performances in this movie are fucking incredible. Elizabeth Taylor, top 5 best actress winner for me right now for this film. Supporting actor or actress, I can't remember her
Sandy
name.
Dennis.
Sandy Dennis. Sandy Dennis as Honey. Great. Lovely. Just
fragile little bird.
Married the episode of The Office. Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds amazing.
That does sound amazing. I don't know anything about the play, but I've heard that Carnage is real, or God of Carnage, it's called on stage, I guess, is a very good play as well. That kind of has, I don't know, a similar thing going on. I don't know. I haven't seen it. Anyway, this movie is great. Elizabeth Taylor is giving, I already said that, one of the greatest performances. The fact that this was Mike Nichols' directorial debut is
Yeah.
wild. This is an incredible film to make your debut with, and to follow it up with The Graduate, that's a fucking achievement right there. I had, like, here's the thing. This was probably the most uncomfortable I've been watching a movie in quite a while. But the weird thing is I can actually see myself revisiting it very soon. It's weird.
I agree with this. Also, just really quick. So my husband, I watch most of the movies like by myself because my husband's not really a cinephile. But I put this on because I was like, I think he's gonna like watch it if I put it on, and that's exactly what happened. And it was really fun. And then he was like, "Well, that was something."
Yeah. Yeah, that is an appropriate reaction. Okay. We can move. Oh, also, if anyone, to the four of you that are currently watching with us, if you watched a movie for the challenge, let us know in the live chat. We'll put it on the screen like we do with all other comments. So yeah, we'll get into week 7 now. Week 7, a film featuring goddess Shirley
This
MacLaine.
week was dope.
This was a great week. I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, I think we have the least to say about my movie, so I'll get mine out of the way quickly. I picked Irma la Douce, which is the second and I believe final pairing of Shirley MacLaine, Jack Lemmon, and Billy Wilder, which is a shame because this is one of the greatest trios in film history for me. The two leads just have so much charisma. It's so much fun to watch. For those of you who don't know what this movie's about, Jack Lemmon is like this goody two shoes cop who is put on a new beat and doesn't realize that the street that he's now on, it's just common for the police to turn a blind eye to what happens there because the street is crowded with prostitutes, and Jack Lemmon, not knowing this, decides to, and I quote, raid the hotel that all of them are staying in, that all of them have their that all of them
Watching Jack talk about this is the best.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Keep
So
going.
uncomfortable.
So he does this.
He's
No,
so
he does this.
uncomfortable.
It's
You want me to take over for you?
Good Lord, is it uncomfortable to pitch?
Okay.
He
Sex
does
workers.
it. He gets fired, and through a commotion with Shirley MacLaine's pimp, accidentally becomes her new pimp, which is just old. That it's just. That's something that I would actually believe Jack Lemmon would happen to Jack Lemmon. He just seems like that it just seems like something that would happen to Jack Lemmon. And seeing him go through everything in this movie is the funniest thing. He is so uncomfortable in every scene. It's so much fun, and the way things just spiral out of control is just, oh man, it's just such a fun watch. That's a great pick for your favorite actress of all time. We'll be talking about my favorite actress of all time later on in the year. I don't think we have any of her movies this week. Unfortunately.
Correct.
Yes, we will get to that soon.
Yeah, sex work. It's
I
the
never
longest.
said I wasn't pro sex work. I'm just saying it's uncomfortable to talk about live. And I'm not digging myself into that hole. Let's just move on. Someone else speak.
Yeah, Bless you, Jack. That was beautiful. So this film, overall I really did enjoy, and I could see myself rewatching it. It was a lot of fun. It is too long, and I know that's like a criticism I kind of saw a lot of people said, but it's true. It's just it is a little bloated and a little too long. I think it would have been a lot better if it was like 90 minutes, maybe an hour 45. Um, but yeah, the chemistry between Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine is just it's so special. And I really love the character of Irma La Douce. Like she is just sassy, and I love her like uniform, her costume that she wears throughout the whole film. Also, I appreciated the Lord X stuff.
Please don't. Please don't.
Please, stop that.
But it was a lot. I can see like how it's influenced other comedians. Like I definitely see that from this role. So, but yeah, overall, I really did enjoy the film. Just a bit long.
Fair.
We don't usually like to descend into to thirsting about actresses that like actresses' performances. There is something like this one is like inherent because Shirley MacLaine, like what they put her in these movies, in this movie, the like tight black and green, it's like genuinely maybe some of the best costume work. My favorite costume work of all movies. I wish this movie was just like the first hour and a half because I think that's really all you need. And if that were it, this would be like a 5-star movie. An outstanding scene where Jack Lemmon and Shirley MacLaine, they're like, it's the first time in this like tiny gross apartment, and she's standing there and they're like getting ready for bed, and he's like, can I take off your stockings? And she looks down, she's like, sure. Because to her that would be like a question she hears all the time, like at work maybe. And he's like, great. And he goes to the window and he just starts taking down her things, and I'm like, that's a great joke. That's a great joke. I just sleep in a night mask. Oh, okay. Like it just goes back to the like it's another like the Lady Eve type of thing where one character has all of this sexuality, this other character is like struggling to keep up, which I don't know why comedically I think that really works for me. But then it keeps going and going and going and going to the point where I kind of lost interest. But it's funny. I mean, some of even the jokes in the second half are like kind of funny, but just please stop. Please, it's too much. It's too many. It's too much. Please stop.
Fair. And I will say, yes, this movie is too long. However, you will never hear me complain about getting to watch Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon in a movie for over 2 hours, especially when it's a Wilder film. That just seems like a treat. But no, it is a little long.
Yeah. I do think this is when Billy Wilder discovered cocaine or something. It's just quite a...
Everything will be green.
You see, Gigi, that movie won Best Picture. That was all red. We're going to make this one green. Everything will be green. Which one would you rather finish with? Alex's or yours, Melissa?
I mean, let's finish on Alex's because it's just a more positive note.
You know what? That's fair. All right, Melissa, kick us off.
Yeah, so the Children's Hour. I have been this film has been like recommended to me personally by a few different people. So I was really looking forward to watching this. Also, essentially what I kept hearing was it's really good and the kid sucks. And I can confirm both are true. But essentially the plot synopsis, which I don't want to get, this one's a little hard because I don't want to talk about it too much. But essentially it is about these two women who run a all-girls boarding school, and this one little nasty little girl spreads a lie and it just infects everything and it destroys their lives. That's essentially the film. The performances are fantastic. And yeah, I was crying for a very long time at the end of this film. And yeah, I would recommend going in as blind as possible if you haven't seen it. But yeah, just that fucking kid, man. I wanted to. Yeah, I did not like her, but she put a fantastic performance because yeah, she's so fucking despicable.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find like the grossest kid, like the worst kid to like play and do like the worst thing that like someone in this situation could have done. This is one. Jack, why did we watch this?
It was on the wheel for Waterloo, Here We Go Again versus Time Shift.
Right, that's why we watched it. And
Hepburn was,
yeah. We watched it a little while back, but I have vivid memories of this movie. And it is really hard. It is really hard and unfortunate. I'm such a big fan of this movie. I would recommend this movie to anybody with some content warnings. Again, this one also needs content warnings. But yeah, two fantastic performances. The worst kid in all of movies. And just one of the best movies ever made, probably. No notes.
Yeah, this is a incredible film. I'm just gonna put what Bar said up again because I 100% agree with everything he just said. Oh
yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a
Yeah.
movie to watch right before late shift. Yeah. No, Audrey Hepburn is fantastic in this movie. Don't get me wrong. This is her best performance that I've seen so far. Although to be fair, I've only seen like 2 or 3 of her movies, 3, maybe 4. But Shirley MacLaine just breaks my heart in this movie. I don't want to go into details about the film because the more blind you go in, the better. However, it's also one of those movies that maybe some research should be done. It's one of those weird movies where the less I knew about it going in, the better. However, if you need to look up, you need to research this for triggers and whatnot. That's totally fair as well. But Shirley MacLaine gives a devastating performance in this film. That child, I would love to just punt across an ocean. Honestly, she is just the fucking worst. It's close between her and that idiot fucking child from Better Watch Out. I hate them both so much, but this is the worst child. I'm just gonna say that it's the worst child. The best actresses. Yeah, she's outacted in this movie, and it's insane. Probably my favorite Wyler movie, if I had to name one off the top of my head. This was Wyler, right?
I believe so.
Sure.
Yeah. Wait, this was a play from the 30s?
Yeah, there actually was a film in the 30s, I believe. But of course they changed the plot. And Shirley MacLaine's, I can't remember the actress's name, but her aunt that plays in this version, she was in the 30s version. She played Martha.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh,
But again, the 30s version is not
very
the same.
different. Okay.
Yeah, they straight watched it, if you will.
Oh,
That's fair.
okay. It was the 30s. But hey, they got it right in the 60s.
Yeah.
They got the story. They got the story right in the 60s. So there's that. Wow, I didn't realize it was based on a play from the 30s. Whack.
Look, we have a lot of plays this episode. A lot of adaptations.
Yeah, we have some weird threads in the months. Because what were some of them from last month?
Last month was like the month of like, here's women and men are bad.
I mean, fair enough. Alex.
Okay. All right.
This movie was incredible.
What a way to go. Now, I have few things I can be proud of in my life. One of them is that I somehow managed to rescue I Married a Witch. I have introduced several people to that movie, and I don't want to brag, but they've all enjoyed it. No one has ever watched I Married a Witch because of me and hated it. I think we are all in agreement of that. I would like here on this show to advocate for the film What a Way to Go. A film in which Shirley MacLaine kills several men with success. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay.
Oh my.
Dick Van Dyke, Paul Newman, who's the other one?
Gene Kelly
Gene Kelly
Oh,
is there, but who's
and
the
Robert
third one?
Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum. 4 incredibly hunky boys all meet and correctly fall in love with Shirley MacLaine. She then gives all of them incredible pieces of advice that makes them wildly rich. And then they die.
Oh wait, no, Gene Kelly did the choreography.
And then they die. And every single time, it's amazing. It's okay. For me personally, What a Way to Go. The opening, I could not get past without knowing. This is gonna get 5 stars. I'm pretty sure. I can just post it and then leave the review part. I just give it 5 stars now and save myself the time later. At least 3 or 4 different times, this movie made my jaw drop with like certain bits and gags that they do, which I won't necessarily spoil them, but what I will tell you is that they're in there and they're amazing. These like fantasy sequences.
Yeah, the vignettes of the like. To me, they're like vignettes that are like celebrating different parts of cinema.
Yeah, and they're all dope. They're all dope. All of the husbands are great. Shirley MacLaine is great. All of the fantasy stuff is great. All of the murders are great. No notes, no complaints. Probably like exactly what I needed after watching stuff like Brink of Life. And it was probably like the perfect, like if you have to watch them back to back, get yourself a happy movie in there somewhere. I know it sounds like the murder part would make it a sad movie, but it's not. It's always really funny when men die. I don't know. I don't know how to tell you that's true, but that's what I'm saying. Sorry.
Jeez. Yeah.
So I get it.
Go ahead.
Right, go ahead.
No.
No, I was just gonna say I get it. Alex loves hot women and witches is what I'm getting.
It's true. Listen, sometimes
which same.
I've never been.
What was
accused
your
of being a
favorite murder?
person. Which is
Oh.
my favorite murder? Oh,
That's a great question.
that is a great question.
I don't even know. But yeah, I can't deny how much fun I had watching this. Like I had a blast. And the motherfucking costumes. Like I could not be more obsessed with all the different looks. Like I want all these clothes in my closet. And also just all the different set pieces throughout the film are just incredible. The budget for this film was crazy. It is weird to think, I don't know if y'all looked this up or saw this, but Marilyn Monroe was actually supposed to star in this, but
Was she really?
Yeah, but she passed away, like I think while they were either doing it or pre-production. I would have to confirm the timeline. But
there was another. Hang on, because there was another one. Was it this month too?
Yes,
There
there was another one from this month as well.
where
I think it was
Irma
Irma
La Deuce. It was Irma La
Yeah,
Deuce.
which is weird.
Marilyn Monroe was supposed to star in Irma La Deuce, but she was like, nah, it's all right. And so they gave it to Shirley MacLaine. And
It's just weird. But there's two.
hey, through lines. Marilyn Monroe.
Weird
Shout out.
through lines.
We'll see you later.
Okay. Did we ever get an answer to your favorite murder?
Favorite murder, probably. I don't know. I like Dick Van Dyke's. I think that's like a very Dick Van Dyke way to go out. This just like absurd running around and then don't like it's just really funny to me.
Oh man, that's fair.
I'm a simple man.
All right. This movie was a blast. Yeah, no. I went into this knowing nothing. I had no clue what this was about. Who was in it, and then the opening credits roll up and it says choreography by Gene Kelly. I'm like, oh, this is interesting already. So then Shirley MacLaine just gives the most charming performance in this. It just strangely charming. I have to. It's just the weirdest thing how she just kills people with success, as Alex put it. Just I watched this today. This is the first 3 movies I watched today for this. I watched
What
this
a great
today.
day.
It was a pretty good day, actually. Yeah. And man, what a movie. It's just so weird to me that this has 18% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you said that because the on the reception part of Wikipedia, yes, this is 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's see, what was the review that
I did not see that. That's upsetting.
if you go to the Wikipedia if you go to the Wikipedia page for What a Way to Go, it on the reception page it tells you how much money it made. It also gives you it's a subheader called Film Critics. John Simon of The New Leader wrote, "The mildest thing that can be said about this film is that it is an abomination." John Simon can fuck off because this movie is great. This movie is great. This movie is like ahead of its time, is what it is. They weren't ready for it. They weren't emotionally ready. They were too weak for What a Way to Go. That's right. I said it. Greatest Generation, you were too weak for Shirley MacLaine doing a French New Wave routine. You were wrong. Paul Newman, too hot for you.
Oh my god. That might have been my favorite husband.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've never
I was just
seen
like,
young hot Paul Newman. I've never seen young Paul hot Newman. Then he rolls up in a taxi, like, "What up?" I'm like, "That's him? That's the guy from Cars?" Oh man.
Yeah, it sure is.
That is the guy from Cars. You're not wrong. Know what? Are we sure it's not Gene Kelly? That's the dude that
What?
is it not Gene Kelly that's the last husband? Or
It's
not
Dean
the last
Martin.
one?
No, Dean Martin
Wow.
is the last husband.
His last husband.
Okay.
Gene Kelly is the clown. Is the clown.
Right.
And Pinky.
Yeah, that's okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Which
I'm just-
the pink scenes? Oh, I was loving that.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was some insanity there. With the pink, that's like GG red levels of insanity with overuse of one color in a movie. Man, yeah, no, this movie was just a fucking blast. I've got nothing else to say about this movie. It's just Shirley MacLaine's incredible. It was a blast.
Go watch it.
Right.
Oh, watch it.
Now, let's
this week.
This week,
Yeah.
a classic biopic. You know what? We're just gonna go in order, like in alphabetical order of like name wise. Alex.
You
Alex,
coward.
pick
All
us.
right. So biopics this week. I had a panic attack this week. Watching Funny Girl. Now, it wasn't like a serious one. It was just a little bit. It was still it's a tiny one. A while back, we watched a movie called The Great Ziegfeld. For Picture This. And I didn't realize that was gonna come back. I didn't realize that was gonna be like a recurring thing. I didn't realize that the Ziegfeld Follies would be coming back to my life. So when I heard that, I like, I heard like the Kill Bill sirens. It was like really bad. Funny Girl is a biopic about Fanny Brice, a comedian stage performer. They got Barbara Streisand to play the part because I think Barbara Streisand was maybe the one that did it on stage. Maybe, I don't know. I can't remember. And it was really good, actually. She plays a character that thinks of themselves as too Jewish and too ugly to be a regular stage like dance like chorus girl, and so she does everything just a little bit weird. And there's also like a guy. He's fine. This is probably the worst thing about movies. Shut up, Bar. The worst thing about movies is when you like have to watch like someone who is a very clearly a very beautiful person be like, no, I'm ugly. We don't usually though have to have a song. Yes, we don't usually have to have a song where like a different person describes their boobs as the size of a lentil. You don't usually see that. And I'll be honest, that's a weird place to start this movie. Funny Girl is wild. At least the first half of it. This is like not as bad as Irma la Douce vibes, but kind of Irma la Douce vibes.
Yeah, I can get behind that because
Yeah.
it's. So this was a rewatch for me. The first time I watched it, it's interesting because I've heard a lot of these songs like prior to the movie, and I love the songs. And again on this rewatch, it made me realize how much I really do like a lot of the songs in this film. I also forgot some of the like really great like set pieces and costumes. Because like my memory of this movie kind of before this rewatch was, the husband kind of sucks, and I don't really care about the story too much, which was kind of the same on this rewatch too. But it did make me appreciate the songs, and I remembered now the set pieces and costumes a bit more because I kind of forgot about that, to be honest.
I mean, I feel like she'd be offended by the question if she could read the question.
I love that conspiracy.
Do you know once a month? I didn't know who Leah Michelle was until very recently. And now once a month, I get at least one YouTube recommendation that says Leah Michelle can't read. And it's just like different times she gets like handed a thing and is like, yes. Funny Girl is like a really good time. I did like the songs. I think Barbara Streisand is like very naturally funny. I think she's just like a really funny person. And comedy musicals get a bad rap. Fight me. True facts.
Yeah, this is definitely a movie that I'm not as big on as you two are. I thought it was fine overall. I thought Streisand was really good. I haven't seen Katharine Hepburn in Lion in Winter. but I'm very excited to. But so far, I don't hate the Best Actress win, but we'll see what I think in a couple weeks when I watch that movie, because I think it's coming up pretty soon in the challenge. But anyway, this movie, other than the lead performance and the costume design and some of the songs, I didn't find particularly interesting. I don't know. Maybe I was just in a bad mood when I saw it, which I don't know how I could be. I just finished watching What a Way to Go. But
I mean, it's really hard to live up to what a way to go. Like, in fairness,
True.
yeah, yeah. No, this movie's just a lot of fun. Or not, I'm sorry, I was thinking of What a Way to Go for a second. This movie's fine. This movie's fine. What a Way to Go is a lot of fun. This movie's fine. Streisand is really good. Solid performance. Don't hate the win as of right now, but we'll see what I think in a couple weeks. I don't have a lot to say about this movie. We can move on to my
another
pick.
Weiler, by the way. That's the through line for this week is, hey, Weiler, huh?
I guess so. You're right. Okay, so I'm just going to admit right off the bat here, I probably could have picked literally any other biopic from this era of Hollywood. Something Alex was sure to let me know several times last night while watching this, because we both still had to see it. And whoo boy, Ivan the Terrible Part 1 is a very pro-Russia movie. That being said, just examining it as a film itself, production design, costume design, all fantastic. Cinematography, gorgeous. Performances, all super solid. Runtime that's 99 minutes. That's a win. However, speaking about just the themes of this movie make it a little bit of a poor decision for me to have chosen for this this week, because a lot of the movie focuses on Russia invading a much smaller country, but yeah. Anyway, I mean, y'all could just rewatch. I mean, if I didn't give it 1 star, maybe.
We could have.
Or 1.5 stars. No, I tried to do this one with all first-time watches where I could. I think I have all first-time watches, actually, which I'm excited about. But no, this movie, solid performances, well made on a technical level, and I don't really have many complaints. Other than one of the dudes acting, his only real asset as an actor are his eyebrows. Those are some very fucking expressive eyebrows. And one of the Boyers or whatever those fuckers are called has the most punchable looking face I've ever seen in my life. Maybe it's the haircut that goes along with it, but man, I wanted to punch that guy in the face anytime he showed up on screen. Someone else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add either. Again, I thought the film looked gorgeous. It honestly reminded me of like a silent film in a lot of ways, but obviously, but it wasn't silent, obviously. But just something about some of the production design and just, yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I don't remember much of the plot anyway, so I guess I didn't really realize it was a pro-Russia movie. I mean, that makes sense.
I mean,
but I don't remember the plot that well. I just remember thinking, it's gorgeous.
Hey, Alex, you want to tell the story about how we watched this movie last night real quick?
Please do.
I got you, fam. So last night, Jack and I were like, we have a show to do in the tomorrow. Do you want to get really high and watch Ivan the Terrible Part 1? And I was like, nah. But then we did anyway. I thought
you suggested it first.
To be clear, I would never suggest watching Ivan the Terrible Part 1. I think it's all right. Melissa's right. It is a silent movie, but people talk in it and you can hear it. The act, like the acting, the costumes, the feel of it, it is all very silent movie. That's actually that's actually the thing I was going to say about it. And I've been on record as saying that I don't really enjoy silent movie styles of acting. I think it's big in the wrong direction. It's a screen. You don't have to play to the back. You just have to play. Bring it back, roll it back. You're at a 13, bring it back to like a 7. That's where you need to be. So Ivan the Terrible Part 1. There we were last night, Jack and I. It was starting to hit. Yeah, we had popped, and we were whooping out of reality, and I started noticing things like, hey, this is a lot like that animated movie Anastasia. Hey, hey, is this not elected dictator gonna invade this like smaller country that's asking to be left alone? That's a weird pick. This is a weird pick for you to have made, Jack. And it really descended into
the Letterboxd synopsis made it sound interesting.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
I am almost interested to see I'm the Terrible Part 2, just to see like what does it take to get canceled by the Russian government. Like what happens in Part 2 that's so weird that Lenin was like, not doing this shit to me. What does that look like? Yeah, that's what I've been. That is content like plot. It is that.
Bar. No, that is not the lesson I want you to take.
I'm pro. Like, if we had to just take it based on picks, I'm pro murdering husbands. You're pro Russia. That's what today's episode is about.
This is not what today's episode.
That's what
Keep
that's
going.
that's what I'm
Just
reading.
keep going.
That's what I'm reading. It is only like half of the story, and it ends on kind of a weird note of the people being like, please be our dictator. Please rule us.
Okay.
Please, Vladimir. I mean, Ivan, please rule us. We really bungled this one up. Yeah. This is a weird pick, Jack. I wish you hadn't done this.
I will say it would be half a star higher, but it went on for 5-10 minutes longer than it should have.
That's true. This is also very multiple endings. This is a weird pick, Jack, and I wish you hadn't have made it. There were so many other
research. I literally looked up 1940s biopics. Ooh, why did you
just do 40s?
Night at the Museum movie.
Why did you just do 40s? Why did you just do the 40s?
That was all the thought that went into it before I read the Letterboxd synopsis. Was, ooh, the guy from Night at the Museum too. Let's watch that biopic. Anyway.
Okay.
Keep going.
I'm the Terrible Part 1 is I didn't
fine.
Like it. I didn't like it. Yeah.
No bar. As Spence pointed out much earlier, where is it? Damn it. Whatever. Yeah, oh yeah, there it is. I don't learn from my mistakes, so I'm Listen, I have a lot of nostalgia for that movie. The third one's shit, but it has a god tier cameo. The second one's fantastic. Anyways, yes, Bar. That's all it took. Let's keep going. Now, Melissa, is there any way we can describe this next movie?
Yes. Yes. So y'all watched the wrong movie High last night. Should have been this one.
I wouldn't have made it.
That's gonna be the first Patreon watch.
So I chose The Color of Pomegranates, and the best way I would describe this film is it's a surreal biopic about an Armenian poet. I'm gonna totally butcher their name. Sayanova.
I'm not Armenian.
Neither am I. But this is a movie I've actually wanted to see for a long time. When I say biopic, that is a loose term. in this film. Um, so this is an art house film. So this is visual poetry to like the highest degree, and I think it really pushes the boundaries of like the medium of cinema, because there's like little to no dialogue throughout the whole film. It's just a lot of beautiful images. Essentially, it's kind of more, I think, trying to tap into the essence of this person, maybe some dream logic, the location, the setting, maybe dreams that he had as like throughout his life. I don't know. I think you can interpret this movie a lot of different ways. It's very psychedelic, meditative. I think it's just soak in the beauty, take what you want from it. It's definitely more like watching murals or paintings come to life, I would say. But I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd necessarily like recommend it to everyone because it's not very accessible. But if you want to just maybe turn off your brain and try something new that doesn't have a typical narrative structure, I say go for it.
You can go you can go next, Alex. I'll go last.
Okay. Speaking of movies that go like counterintuitive to how my brain works, The Color of Pomegranates is a really interesting movie to watch. And I had a hard time with it. Kind of. I say that because there's not. I heard a really interesting discussion recently about like, do you need plot? And I'm realizing more and more that I'm for plot, that I'm for narrative. I like being told a story. And The Color of Pomegranates decides, what if we didn't do that? What if we showed you images taken off of the words of a page and just showed you that, and we just do that for an hour and 20 minutes. It's really interesting. I do think that it is a really good example of dream logic or thought process or just random thoughts. Really, really gorgeous to look at. Like that stills from this movie could just be hung up on your house. People would be really fascinated. Lots of them are like 20-second shots of like people swaying. Sheep, so many sheep, just a lot of sheep, so many sheep, and just a really strong sense of like presence and visuals and just cinematography that is unlike anything I've ever seen. Unfortunately, I think it kind of doesn't work as a biopic because I knew nothing about the person that it's supposed to be about, and at the end of it, I still don't. I don't know I understand he may have been a poet. I think maybe he was a poet that one time saw a boob at a bathhouse. That's what he. And he just randomly thought about that. He saw a shell one time with it, and he thinks about that regularly. That's what I get out of The Color of Pomegranates, is a lot of stills that could go up somewhere. So many sheep, so much red and purple. A lot of like,
you could say it's the color of pomegranates.
Some might say a lot of people painted white. A lot of people painted white, and like one person playing like 12 roles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I love that. But yeah, I mean, again, it gives you no insight to this person really, like at all. Yeah, if you're looking for a biopic that's like ABC happens, no,
Not this one.
That's not here.
I'll tell you what. There's biopics where you could just read a Wikipedia page and basically get the gist of the dude's life. That's not the case with this movie. But yeah. This is just these are a few messages I sent to Alex while watching this movie. just some quick questions. Why are they dyeing a chicken red? Why is anything in this movie happening? Why does a man have a peacock's beak in his mouth? I'm lost. This is one of the most... No, I'm going to correct myself. This is the weirdest and most surreal movie I've ever seen in my life. I genuinely don't know what I watched. It's been like 3 days at this point since I saw this, and I'm still processing what it was I actually saw. Spent 80 minutes of my life watching on this computer. Just, it's bizarre. I don't know what I could possibly say about this movie. There's no real like performances to speak of like that stand out. They're all just kind of extras doing these little vignettes, and they're interesting.
It's like if you saw one person's memory, but from like it like constantly flash forwards 5 years and nobody tells you about it. Like you see some stuff
like
as a kid with a kid, and then it's a little bit later, it's a little bit later, it's a little bit later, movie ends. And you're like, wait, 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 come back. Come back. Wait.
Okay, I will say there was one part that I laughed a lot during, and it was, I don't know if it was even intentional. It's just, there's a dude like on a slab, like this guy's dead. He is surrounded by sheep. Like I have never seen so many damn sheep in my life. Meanwhile, this dude he's holding something and like singing as he's like trying to slowly move his way through the sheep to get to this guy. And for some reason that image was pretty comical to me, but then it just cuts away. Like it does that often in this
there's
movie.
a lot of jarring kind of cuts and
and
scene changes.
And genuinely, I don't know if I'll ever watch this movie again, but if I do, it will probably be under the influence.
Oh, I can't wait to buy this on Criterion.
Oh,
I
sure
have the
like
Criterion channel to watch this. I'm not going to spend $40 on the Blu-ray.
if you happen to like track down The Color of Pomegranates, watch it on the like best visual setting that you possibly can, because it is genuinely like impressive and weird to look at. I described it, I think, as if David Lynch directed Lawrence of Arabia. And I think that's probably a hungover David Lynch. I think that's probably the best.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I won't be assigning a rating to this movie just because I genuinely don't know how I'm supposed to rate it. I don't know how I feel about this movie. There's I respect what it was going for, but I can't necessarily say that I enjoyed everything or most of what I saw. So that's it for us this week. Our next episode is going to be on March 31st at 7 p.m. EST. Probably.
Sorry,
probably.
it's my fault today.
No. You're good. You're good. I'm just stalling for like 10 seconds till I can open the Google Doc, so I can just make sure I know what.
Yeah, again, we made these lists. The category list was made like 5 months ago. That's how long Jack has been working on this show. And we've forgotten everything that it was supposed to be. We've devolved into Shirley MacLaine good in this movie. She was, actually. I say it. Yeah.
Yes. And you know what? It's fair. She is great in those movies. All of them. Okay. Week 9 is a film by John Ford. So I'm very excited for that week. Wait. You really respect the sheep, Jack? Yes, I do respect the sheep. I had 3 sheep for like 10 years, and they were great. I do really like sheep. Anyway, week 10, a non-linear film. I'm really excited because I get to knock off another Kurosawa film I haven't seen, so that's really exciting. A film from 1923 is week 11. Week 12 is a Western, and week 13 is a film by
Federico Fellini.
Yeah, that guy. So what movie are you most excited to watch this next month?
Shit. Hang on.
8.5, 100%. I am becoming a big Fellini fan. I'm saving up for that Criterion like $200 set because it looks amazing. Has, like, all of
The
his films.
Essential Fellini set?
Yeah, I'm currently saving up for that.
That's fair.
So I'm
been
very excited
looking
for
at
this
that
one.
one as well. Yeah, for me, I'm torn between two because my Western pick is The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And I've heard that movie's incredible. However, The Last Duel was one of my favorite movies from last year, or 2 years ago at this point now, I guess. And I've been told that Rashomon was a big inspiration for that movie. So, and I really love Yojimbo and Sanjuro. Yojimbo is one of my favorite movies I saw in high school. It's an incredible film. Kurosawa was great. So yeah, I'm really excited to watch Rashomon.
Yeah, I'm
Probably-
excited to watch
Probably
that
a
one
little
too.
more excited for that over Liberty Valance, if I'm being honest. Alex, how about you?
I might have to join you in the Rashomon pick. I'll be honest, this next month is going to be... I hate John Ford. Every John Ford movie I've seen has been such a drag. I can't believe you're making me watch a John Ford movie.
Yeah,
Man, Shall is also John Ford? Fuck John Ford. The point is this.
Yes, I tried to get as many John Ford in as I could for me.
Yeah, Rashomon. I think this is going to be like kind of the... There's 1 month that I'm going to be like super grumpy about. It's going to be this month. It's going to be this next month. So look forward to that.
I will
Yay.
say,
I was in a good mood this week. This month.
that's fair. I will say, month I'm really looking forward to is December, and I'll tell you why. Because we get to see 3 Ingrid Bergman movies that month, at least. I haven't looked at the other challenges, but a film featuring Ingrid Bergman is a challenge that week, and I'm so excited for that. Anyway, yeah, that's it for us. We'll be back next at the end of next month, March 31st at 7 p.m. EST. I want to see that one too.
Hey, maybe.
I think that may or may not have been chosen. We'll see. Anyway, that does it for us. Thanks for watching. We'll be back at the last Friday of next month. Till then, we'll see you.
Well, nobody's perfect.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.